Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
That was until the blanket was stolen by him.
How do you know that Mr. Salazar stole your blanket?
He admitted, eventually.
All right. Did you steal this man's blanket?
I did not steal his blanket.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. Stop. Is that true? I don't want you to understand. I want you to overstand.
Yes, sir.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. That's not gonna happen. Not up in here, not today. And boom goes the dynamite.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Damian Cannon claims a treasured childhood blanket was stolen by his ex-roommate and says the theft caused him to suffer extreme emotional distress.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
Mr. Cannon is suing Jonathan Salazar in the amount of $5,670.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Good Deputy Thomas.
So I read this case, Mr. Cannon, and I know you're suing your former roommate, Mr. Salazar. I'm gonna have you tell your story and then we'll go from there. Go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, I am suing today my former roommate from college, Jonathan Salazar, for $5,670 for civil theft and emotional distress.
Yeah, now you said all that, but the issue here, from what I read, was he was giving you a hard time about something that you've had since you were a child.
Exactly.
Okay, and what are we talking about?
We're talking about my childhood blanket that has been with me my entire life.
So you've had this blanket, and it has value to you because?
Because this blanket has been something that has been in my family. It was what I was wrapped in coming home from the hospital, and it is something that has connected me to my mother who passed away. It has been with me
When
my
did your mom
entire
pass
life.
away?
She passed away when I was 11.
Okay.
And it's helped me get through moments of anxiety in my life. It's helped me get through really rough moments in school, social situations that I've really struggled with, and it means a lot to me. And Jonathan knew exactly how much it meant to me.
Did you?
No, not to the extent that he's talking about.
What did you know about this blanket?
I knew that he used it every day in an unconventional way, and
What do you mean it was unconventional?
there was a clear attachment to this blanket. It was kind of very protective over it, and it was overall strange for an 18-year-old at the time to have such a connection to an object like that.
And what was the relationship between the two of you while you were roommates?
Well, we first became roommates because we have a lot in common, and we're both engineering majors.
You had an issue with this blanket.
Correct.
What was your issue with him having this blanket?
My issue primarily started when we would try to do a lot of social things, and I would introduce him to a lot of my friends, and I just didn't want him to kind of seem weird in front of them, because it's a blank
Then why
slate for
introduce him
friendships.
if you didn't want him to seem weird with
Because
you?
I genuinely think he's a nice guy. Honestly, I'm just trying to get him out of his comfort zone, and it seems like he has an emotional
Did
attachment
he
to this
ask
blanket.
you for help in getting out of his comfort zone?
He didn't ask
Exactly.
me exactly for help, but it seemed just like the right thing to do because
According to who?
I feel like as a good college roommate, you should.
You, in other words, took it upon yourself.
Once he found out about my blanket, started seeing me as this baby that he didn't respect, and he would still introduce me to friends, but I always just felt like these friends were against me. He would talk about me behind my back
How do you know that if it was behind your back?
because they told me, the other guys on our floor.
Other people told you, hey man, your roommate's talking about you behind your back.
Exactly.
What exactly was he talking about?
He was talking about the things that I'm basically saying about being antisocial, introverted. He would make himself
He
seem like he was
started
better
having
than me.
conversations with others
Right.
about how antisocial you were.
Right.
That's all you feel as though Mr. Salazar did behind your back.
That was until the blanket was stolen by him.
How do you know that Mr. Salazar stole your blanket?
He admitted, eventually.
All right. Did you steal this man's blanket?
I did not steal his blanket.
Okay. At some point, were you in possession of his blanket? This is not a difficult question that I'm asking.
Yes, but it never left the room.
The question was, at some point, were you in possession of his blankie? The answer is yes. Did you ask him for permission to be in possession of his blankie before you were in possession of it?
I did not, but I was doing
So
him a
the
favor.
answer is no. So something that belonged to Mr. Cannon ends up being in your possession, and it was not in your possession based on him saying it was okay for it to be in your possession. Do I have it right?
You have it right, but I would like to
Well,
clarify.
then that is called theft.
Coming up on America's Court.
Did you tell him I put your blankie behind the dresser?
I did not.
Then you have committed theft.
And later,
More so, I had a bunch of toys, in childhood that I then flipped for $2,500 on eBay.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of when I realized, this is a solid
this
side
is a
hustle.
good
right?
hustle.
Yeah, it is.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Damian Cannon, who is suing Jonathan Salazar for $5,670.
How much time went by before you returned the stolen item to Mr. Cannon? Was it a day?
I didn't return the stolen item because it wasn't stolen. It never left the room, Your
It was
Honor.
stolen if you took it without permission. What part of this are you not getting, engineering major?
Well, he found it after 6 months, to answer your
He
question.
found it where?
In between the dressers of
Who
our
put
dorm
it
room.
there?
Where he,
I had put it there for his own good, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you tell him I've put your blankie behind the dresser?
I did not.
Then you have committed theft. You stole his blankie.
absolutely.
Now the question is, why did you do that?
Well, I honestly placed his blanket somewhere else because he has an abnormal attachment to this.
Based on whose conclusion that it's abnormal?
I would say still my conclusion.
It's your conclusion.
I was honestly trying to look out for my friend.
Maybe you accept your friend based on who he is and what is of interest to him, and not so much based on your decision as to how he should be. The $5,670 comes from where?
It comes from my therapy charges as a result of not having my blanket, not having my sense of comfort, my sense of peace, connection to my mom and my family. And I ended up needing to go to therapy because my anxiety and depression skyrocketed immediately afterwards. After he knew exactly what he was doing, he saw how it was affecting me, the energy that I was bringing into the dorm room every
That's
single
false.
day.
I did not know.
He absolutely 1,000% knew what it would do to me.
I
And
didn't know he was going to therapy.
I ended up having to go
I didn't
twice
know
a
you were
week.
going to therapy. I
Would it
didn't know
have
it
made a
impacted you
difference?
that way.
Would it have made a difference if you knew he was going to therapy? Why does he have to even tell you he's going to therapy?
Well, he's my roommate. I hope he would tell me things that are important to him.
Let me see whatever proof you have showing me why you're entitled to $5,670. That's a lot of money. And I'm sure Mr. Salazar is like, why do I have to pay for his therapy? Can't find my blanket. It was on my bed. Did you steal it or throw it away? Of course not, Dame. I didn't steal or throw it away. But you're the only one who was here today. I don't have it. 3 exclamation points. Maybe it's a sign to let go of your attachment to it. No girlfriend is going to be okay with you sleeping with a blanket, dude. I found my blanket behind the dresser today. I know you put it there. That was cruel. You should have minded your own business. You're such a jerk. Then you say, please, I helped you out. It's been 6 months and you never needed your disgusting blanket. You should be thanking me.
That is true.
I had to go to therapy the whole time. It's all your fault. You owe me this money. Damon, you're out of your mind. Just throw that ugly blanket away and move on. Anything else?
I would like to present video evidence that I submitted to the bailiff earlier, demonstrating his insensitivity when I first lost my blanket
All right.
and proving his
We
point.
have it.
It's all set, sir.
Let's hear it.
Hey dude, it's honestly time. It's getting frustrating, it's weird. You just gotta get rid of that blanket and just do something normal for once and come hang out with us. Please.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I still do strongly believe I helped him out for the rest of his life.
In order to prove intentional infliction of emotional distress, there are 4 elements. That the defendant's conduct was intentional or reckless. When you took that blanket, you did so intentionally. We can check that box. Then we have the issue of the conduct caused, meaning there's a causation element, severe emotional distress. Did losing that blanket, was that a causation element? We can check that box. Did he experience severe emotional distress as a result? He went to therapy, so that's proof. We can check that box. But I left out the second element. And the second element is, for emotional distress, was the behavior by the defendant extreme and or outrageous? And that's what I was struggling with when I read this case. You told him to get rid of it. You made fun of him. You told others. You hid it.
But I helped him.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel will come down in favor of the plaintiff. Because when you did all 4 of those things, you checked that box of extreme behavior. You will pay him $5,670. That is the order. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $5,670.
You traumatized me, you hurt me intentionally, and I hope you never hurt anyone like that ever again.
Damien, good luck to you and the rest of your life and your blanket.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
He claims that there is $1,000 in back rent that I have not
Mr. Hicks
paid.
claims $1,000 in back rent owed to him was not paid by you.
That is correct.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Reggie Hilson claims his business partner agreed to split profits from their collectible toy sales and says he hasn't received what he's owed. Mr. Hilson is suing Taylor Hicks in the amount of $500.
All right, Mr. Hilson, set the table for me. What's going on, sir?
Hello, Your Honor. I am here suing this man for $500.
Well, you know Mr. Hicks. You're referring to him as this man. You all were in business together.
Yes, that is correct, Your
For
Honor.
how long?
For about 4 months. We've been
4
roommates.
months you were in business. And prior to those 4 months, did you all know each other?
Yeah, as roommates.
How long had you been roommates?
About 2 years.
Now, whose idea was it to go into business together initially?
Technically, it was mine.
Now, you say technically, why is that?
I have a cousin who is super into toys and had given me a box. He was moving, so he gave me a ginormous box and other little boxes of toys, collectibles, things that people will pay premium price for.
And he just gave it to you for free?
Yeah, he was moving. He couldn't take them all with him. He probably took his favorites and gave me a big amount of side toys. I don't know what to call it.
Okay, and then what?
And then I didn't know what to do with them. I'm not really into toys like that.
Right.
And, we had just become roommates, and I found out that he was into toys. So
You were into toys and collectibles.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Give me some background in that regard.
Sure. So I guess I first got into flipping collectibles shortly after high
Oh,
school
you're
ended.
into it not, from a standpoint of the business profitability of that industry.
I am.
You yourself are a collector?
More so, I had a bunch of toys, in childhood that I then flipped for $2,500 on eBay.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of when I realized, this is a solid side hustle.
This is a good
right?
hustle.
Yeah, it is.
Coming up on America's Court.
That wasn't appropriately given to you.
that is correct.
You're not disputing that.
I'm not disputing that, but
Is the amount $500?
the amount is $500, Your Honor.
This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Reggie Hilson, who is suing Taylor Hicks for $500.
What was the understanding with you in terms of what would be the benefit that Mr. Hicks would receive from participating?
50% of everything that we make on it.
All right. Did you get your 50%?
I did for the first 2 months, Your Honor.
All right. The first 2 months, did he get his 50%?
Yes, Your Honor.
Something happened the third month.
I didn't get my 50%.
Was there a 50% portion that Mr. Hilson did not receive in month 3?
There was, Your Honor.
Yes.
But I can
All
explain.
right. So do you know why, Mr. Hilson, you didn't get your 50%?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Why?
He claims that there is $1,000 in back rent that I have not
Mr. Hicks
paid him.
claims $1,000 in back rent owed to him was not paid by you.
That is correct.
All right. Is that true, Mr. Hicks?
Yes, that is true.
All right. You all each were owed $1,000 in terms of providing to the property management company, the owner. Each of you were to give $1,000 per month.
Yes, that is
Was
correct.
there a month that you were not able to meet your financial obligation?
Yes, Your Honor.
How was then your obligation satisfied?
Well, he actually was going to be a good friend and help me out. So I got.
He
let
covered
go.
your portion.
Yeah.
You
that is
owed him
correct.
$1,000 because 1 month in particular you didn't have it.
That is correct.
Fair enough. Did
Yeah.
you say to him, "I will pay you back"?
Yeah. So we had a agreement.
What was the agreement?
$250 a month for 4 months.
Did he ever pay any of the months?
He paid the first month, June.
So you owe him $750 after promising him that you would pay him to cover your portion of the rent.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
You're saying you are owed $500 because of profit from the sale of this merchandise that wasn't appropriately given to you.
That is correct.
You're not disputing that.
I'm not disputing that, but
Is the amount $500?
the amount is $500, Your
Okay,
Honor.
based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel comes down in favor of the plaintiff. He's entitled to the $500 you withheld. Now, ultimately, here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave here. You're going to file a suit against him. You're going to file it for $750. And then if he doesn't pay you, you're going to come back, and I'm going to say, do you owe him $750? You're going to say, yes, I do.
I won't.
I'm going to say, based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel comes down in favor of Mr. Hicks. You're going to give him $750. But otherwise, judgment in favor of the plaintiff. That is the order. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $500.
I hope you enjoy those $500 for as long as you have them, because I'm coming for the rest of it and for those $500.
That went exactly how I needed it to go.
For now.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.